Hi guys, how are you? Happy Sunday. Awesome. What's up? Oh, you hear Georgia. She heard me say hi, and so now she wants to be saying hi. My hair is still wet from showering earlier. Hey, Shelly. Hey, hey. Hi, guys. There's Nicole and Diana, Tabitha, Annette, Emily, Marlena, Lisa, Maureen, Katie, Alicia. Happy birthday. There's Tabby and Leah and Mom, Kelly, Crystal, Angela, and Sarah. Yeah. All right. We're going to get to it in just a second. And there's Carrie. Okay. Hold on. Let me turn this up. That's not right. You guys are going to hear Frozen in the background because that's what's in the background of my house every day. Can you guys hear me okay? Everybody is muted so nicely that I'm hearing nothing, and that is great. But I was like, wait a minute. What if you guys can't hear me? Awesome. All right, well, let's get right to it. Happy Sunday. There was so many good wins that were shared today on the Facebook post. So if you haven't shared a weekend win, pop over to the Fitme community Facebook group and share one of your wins from the weekend. Sometimes the weekends can get kind of crazy and hectic, and even just getting a couple wins usually keeps you on track. Oh my gosh, Annette, baby. Oh man, baby spam. That's awesome. Good to see your face. So if you haven't posted a win, go over there and share one thing that you had that was a win this weekend. Another quick announcement before we get into the topic of the week is that we recently added an application to the Fitme community and the Fitme nutrition website. So we didn't used to have an application for coaching, but now we do. So if you have a friend who's like, hey, what is this thing that you're doing? Or like, how do I find out about Fitme? You can actually just send them to the website now and they can apply for coaching, and then we'll do a phone call with them and chat about that. But we didn't used to have that. And so now it's there, and that should make it easier for people to find out if we're the right fit for them. So it's on the fitmecommunity.com or fitmenutrition.com, either one. And I think that's it for announcements. If you missed it last week, we talked about how in the very near future, we're going to have some really cool dates coming up. So we're going to do two special events this year, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast. These are going to be like a coached weekend. So it's kind of like taking all of the awesome work that you're doing inside of Fitme and then putting it on steroids. And so with the people who sign up for that are going to be having like an incredible experience of like learning more about food, about themselves, about just being more capable, more fulfilled, all of those things all packed into one weekend with your Fitme coaches. So it's going to be pretty awesome. And we'll have dates for that really soon. And hopefully you can pick a coast that works for you. And then maybe next year we'll do one somewhere in the middle. Somebody can make a suggestion for a middle state. Okay, topic for the week. We're going to talk about movement and exercise because we need to talk about it, because in Fitme, we actually think about things a little bit differently. So you learned when you very first joined one of our like Fitme basics, which is movement every day. So that's one of the things on your tracker. That's what is in the Facebook group when we do a workout movement roll call. We want to see everyone moving, and typically like in the, more of like the diet world, or even in, the fitness space, we think about something like exercise as in like, oh, this is my defined exercise. And if I'm not ready to start an exercise program, or if I'm not feeling well, or if I'm in this season where maybe I've got an injury, then I can't do anything. We kind of approach it sort of different. We say, what can you do? You should be doing some kind of movement every single day. And then, yes, you absolutely want to exercise, but it depends on where you're at, right? If you're doing 3 days a week of strength training, or if you're doing CrossFit, or you're doing a running club or whatever, those are kind of like exercise, and movement, something that you do every single day. Now, here's the thing. So you probably are like, okay, yeah, Christy, that's a good reminder. Like, yes, that is different. Like, I'm on board. Move every day. I feel better. My question for you this week in your homework is to decide which one you need to improve, because almost everybody is one of the two. Let me explain. When I was coaching CrossFit, I was coaching like full time at a CrossFit gym in Maryland. So I was on my feet all day. I was walking around all day, and I was exercising quite a bit because I was doing CrossFit because I worked there. When I started right before we moved, so right before we did a cross country moved, I stepped away from coaching full time and started coaching maybe 2 classes a week. And I started working online. I changed nothing about my food or my exercise. I was still doing the exact same amount of like exercise. I simply decreased the amount I was moving every day. And do you know what happened? I gained 5 pounds. 5. Just from changing my movement, not my exercise, not what I was eating, just the amount that I move around all day. So in the, in the nutrition space, or in, personal trainers or fitness people will tell you that your total daily energy expenditure, like what you do folding laundry, what you do walking to the mailbox and back, walking your dog, like moving around your house, if you do a job where you're on your feet, that actually is like a huge contributor to how your body feels and how it looks, and to your weight loss goals. So some of you guys are doing a fantastic job going to the gym. You're doing that part. You're getting a CrossFit thing, you're getting a run in, but you're pretty much sitting on your butt the rest of the day. Maybe you have a job that's in front of the computer. Maybe you've got obligations. Maybe you're a nursing mom, or maybe you're holding a baby and feeding the baby the bottle, and you're on your butt all day. Well, then you're someone who I want you to think about, how are you going to increase your daily movement? That's your target for this week. If that stands out to you and you're like, I got the gym part down, not so good about the movement part, got to increase it. This will contribute to your weight loss goals if you have one. It contributes to your cardiovascular health. It contributes to your joints feeling good, because if you sit all day, then your hip flexors get short, your back starts to hurt, your shoulders start to get rounded. So part of overall feeling healthy and wellness is moving. And if you have a job that is in front of the computer, then you got to be intentional about it. If you are a waitress or a construction worker, well, then you don't have to be intentional about your daily movement, because you're going to move all day. Or a nurse or something who you're on your feet all the time, a kindergarten teacher, like I'm not talking to you. So if you are someone who has the workout piece down, but the movement needs improvement, your target this week is to tell your coach where you're at, and then let them know specifically how you will be intentional about increasing your movement. Sometimes, especially when I was doing, like a couple years ago, when I was primarily doing one-on-one macro nutrition coaching, we always calculated people's activity level. That was how we would estimate calories and give macro prescriptions, right? Well, if somebody was like, yeah, I go to the gym 4 times a week and I do a CrossFit workout and it's fairly short, 10 minutes or so, 20 minutes tops, but then I sit the rest of the day, I had to put in that they were sedentary. Sedentary was their overall movement. So that's just to put it in perspective, because sometimes we're like, okay, well, I did it. I went to the gym, but we've got to move throughout the day. So that's some of you, but there's another group of you. There's another group of you who are doing pretty decent with the movement piece. I know a handful of people who get out and get those walks in, who are good at walking their dogs, who might be on their feet more often, but who are super struggling with getting some strength work in. It just doesn't happen. And here's the thing. As females, we have to do some kind of strength work. Why? Because it's good for our bone density. It's good for our muscles. We need muscles to burn calories. So if you are, again, if your goal is weight loss, and a lot of people it is, the muscles on your body are what burn the calories. That is your metabolism, essentially, is your muscles. So if you're doing great on the movement piece, but you're not spending any days of the week, 0 days of the week doing any strength work, then that is your target for the week. How are you going to be intentional about adding some strength work in? And I bet you're going to be like, well, I can't go to the gym, or like there's something wrong, or I have an injury or whatever. Listen, your body counts as a weight. So no matter where you're at, you can do some kind of strength work. Most people, again, unless you're recovering from surgery or something where you really are not able to do anything. But even then, I bet you I could come up with something for you to do. So your body counts as weight. So even if you can't get to the gym, starting to hold planks, doing negative push-ups, doing squats to a chair, doing some jumping squats, running up and down the stairs in your house, like those count as strength things, doing lunges around your house. Those kind of activities count as strength work. And so if you're somebody who's doing well on the movement piece, but you're not getting that strength work in, then that's your homework this week. How are you going to do it? So everybody in their Fitme like materials has a strength program. So if you have access to a gym and you're like, I just don't know what to do, you've got a program you can follow that's fairly easy to modify. Like it's beginner all the way to advanced can do it. Diana is like my MVP. She has been, okay, hold on, Diana, unmute yourself real quick. You've been with Fitme for what? Sorry, 2 years. And how many, so I just like to clarify. So you joined 2 years ago, and since then you've lost how much weight?
I went from, over 30 pounds. So I went from like 197 and I'm at 167. So yeah.
Yes. And you've done so well. I mean, like 2 years worth of work, but one of the things that you've done that makes you stand out is you have done the strength work. That is a part of the Fitme programming. At first, she didn't even want to do it. She was like, I do not want to do it. And she had equipment in her basement. And I'm like, no, you're going to get in a couple strength work, follow the program. And she has followed it religiously. She's repeated it a couple of times, adding weights. She's gone through it twice. And then now I'm just giving her new stuff. She's the only person on this planet that I write strength work for, Diana. But that's because she did the programming twice through already. So it really does work, but you have to add that piece in. But Diana, also a good example. What have we talked about in terms of your job?
I sit on my butt a lot.
Yes.
In front of a computer.
Mm-hmm. And so for her to get past the plateau that she's at, that's a piece of what she tracks, is how getting up and getting walks in. And so both of these things are really important. And here's the good news is if you aren't doing either of these things, you get to pick which one you like. So you get to pick the one that's easier for you. For some people, that's going to be starting a gym routine. If you're like, I'm not doing anything, I sit on my butt and I don't go to the gym and I don't work out in my house. I don't do anything. That's okay. That is literally what we're doing. We're doing this together. You get to pick which one is more doable for you. If the walks are more doable, that's where you get to start. If doing some sort of like gym program is more doable, that's where I want you to start. Everybody's a little bit different. And so some people like to have the structure. Some people are like, I want it to count if I go to the stop sign and back. Like that's all I can manage. But that is your target for the week. And I guess there's one more group of people that if you are crushing both of these already, then I want you to ask your coach how you can take it to the next level. Maybe you're like getting too comfortable and it's time to up the ante a little bit. So if you're, Natika's eyes just got real big because she's like, don't make me uncomfortable anymore. So if you're doing both of these things, then let's talk about it. How do you make it even better? My philosophy is if you find yourself in a really good place, autopilot, say you're like walking every day and you're getting to the gym a couple of times, and then you're cruising and you take it to that next level. Now, when you're doing it, when things get really hard, you actually reset back to your autopilot, so that's why it's a good reason to kind of give it a little push sometimes, because then you're at this new level. And then when life gets tricky and it's the holidays, and you're like, whatever, I can't do that anymore. I'm back to, okay, well, I'll just keep walking. I'll get to the gym 3 times. Like that's my got that. But you know what? This philosophy works even if you get knocked all the way down. So maybe you have to reset completely. Maybe you have a surgery. Maybe you've got a family situation. Maybe you've got a whatever. The nice thing is when you've got this mindset around movement and exercise, you know what to do. you know, okay, I'm just going to start with the walks, or I'm just going to start with some body weight strength stuff. And I can build back over time. So everybody should have a target this week, because I think I talked about every category of person in regards to movement or exercise. And hopefully you know who you are. So let's talk about it. If you're like, yep, I know which one I am, and I know what I need to ask my coach about, then I would love to hear that. Or if you want to share a challenge or a question or a struggle, let's talk about it for a few minutes. All right, hit it.
I feel like for once I'm ahead of the game, only because last week I decided I was too sedentary during my day. I stand a lot during my day, honestly, but I don't do a lot of moving around in my office necessarily. And I realized that I was not getting enough movement. And so I started doing laps around my office building at lunch. And the third day, I finally remembered to turn my tracker on. So it's a mile. 6 laps around the building is a mile. So I'm hoping that will be helpful.
Yeah, it will be helpful. You were ahead of the game. You literally knew what I was going to say.
That never happens.
No, you're on it. Just for reference, approximately 4 miles is 10,000 steps. So if you wanted to like approximately gauge, you know, if you were going to go for a 2-mile walk, you're already at 5,000 steps. That's just ballpark. Good job, Angela.
I'll go.
Yeah.
So with my kids getting back to school, we've had an adjustment and again in our daily routine. And there's a lot of components that go into that. But what I realized is that when we started quarantine, I had chunks of my calendar that were blocked off to help support school. And over time, my husband's picked that up and I don't have those parts of my calendars blocked anymore. And so I just started this week. I can't do it every day, but starting next week and later, I have the times that my kids go to school blocked off on my calendar so that I can walk them to school. Thankfully, their schools are in our neighborhood, but to my oldest school and back is a mile. My school and back is a half mile. So I can get, 3 miles essentially in a day just by doing drop off and pick up and blocking off that special, because those walks to and from are good, just solo kid time too. To get a few minutes to chat with the kids. And then one direction I get to be by myself. So it serves a number of purposes, but I just have to block the time.
Mm-hmm. I love that you've already thought about this and are doing it, Sarah, because I gave Sarah this homework 2 weeks ago because we were brainstorming life and she's got a lot on her plate right now. And the solution couldn't be, let's, get to the gym 5 days a week or something. It just doesn't fit right now. And she's working so hard that she's tired, that the solution also couldn't be, we'll just get up early and do it, at 5 a.m. How about that? It's just not that season. And so her homework was, I want you to fundamentally shift something you do all the time to increase your movement. I joked, I said, get rid of your car. She's like, that's not possible. And I said, well, something like that. So good job, Sarah, in doing your homework. Because I think getting your kids to school is something, again, that's just a part of your day. And that can be the opposite of what I did when I stopped coaching CrossFit all day. You're literally doing the exact opposite. You're adding in a lot of steps and movement into your normal day. So awesome job. Good work. Is anybody doing well with the movement piece, but struggling maybe with the strength piece or the workout piece? Like either not doing it consistently or like doesn't want to do it?
I'll go.
Okay.
I'm struggling with all of it. So I haven't had, my video, I guess I can put my video on.
There you are.
I've been moving and unpacking and rearranging and trying to decorate and all of that stuff and still working. And by the end of the day, I'm just spent. So, I mean, I move and I lift and I do, but I don't, it's not intentional. So I just struggle.
Mhm.
So that's my story.
Thanks, Carrie, for sharing that. One, you do get credit for moving your stuff, because I've moved a bunch of times for the military. You get credit for that movement. That don't sell yourself short. That is hard work. You're moving stuff, you're doing functional movement. You were like picking things up and putting them down and walking all over your house. And so you're doing some really good stuff already. But if you are someone, if like Carrie, who the day is full, and then you get to the end of the day and you're smoked and you're like, how in the world could I do anything at this point? You have to do it first. So the solution is it has to be first in your day. The intentional piece. That way, whether it's 10 minutes or an hour, like whatever you have time for, it might just be 10 minutes of you getting up in the morning and like moving through a very purposeful, like body movement, you know, like a flow where you're just kind of like waking yourself up and moving your joints and all that. And then you've been intentional for your very busy day of moving stuff and working and all of that. But then maybe that also turns into something a little bit more. So that would be my recommendation, Carrie, is pick something first that you can do. The other thing is, this is a game that I have played, again, more than one time with the military, is especially if you have a house to clean, or if you are someone who has to be in different rooms, or you're like unpacking stuff or whatever, it's a little game. You basically can put things in different rooms of your house. So I would put like 2 dumbbells in the laundry room. And then I would put, something else like a med ball in the bathroom, and I would put whatever. And anytime I walked into that room to drop off a laundry basket or to go to the bathroom or to walk into the kitchen, I had to do like 5 things. I would have to do 5 shoulder press or like 5 squat with the med ball. And it doesn't feel like a lot when you're doing it, but if you have a day where you're popping around your house all day and you do that, then you've added up quite a bit of movement, and it doesn't even really change your day that much, but that wouldn't happen without the intention of doing that. So maybe, Carrie, if you've got a lot of unpacking left to do, you could try that. Tabby, let's see what you just said. Okay, Sarah said, for those working from home, a coworker told me she added a commute to her day and she takes off before work and walks around the block. Yep, that is awesome. And Tabby says she works from home and implements a morning walk, lunch break walk, and a post-work walk just to break the steps into smaller chunks. And it seems to be working to actually hit my 10K per day. Yeah, I think that's a great strategy, Tabby. Natika, didn't you do that forever? Didn't you do mini walks forever to hit 10K? I think she's muted.
Yes. So now I walk at lunchtime if I don't work out, but I also, any meeting that ends early, because I've already blocked it off on my calendar, I take that extra time and I go for a walk. So if it's a 40-hour meeting that ends in 45 minutes, I get me a 15-minute walk.
I love it.
Every time.
I love it. And even if your brain's still thinking about work stuff, it's a perfect way to think. You can just let it all sit while you walk. That's really good. I knew you did mini walks because I remember you used to talk about them. So Tabby, that's a really good strategy. And most of the people that I know, and again, like after, I don't know how long, 7 years of coaching people and watching bodies transform, most of the transformations that I've seen include walking, period. They just do. That is essential. And so being deliberate, even if it's 15 minutes, okay, my meeting ended early, I'm just going to go for a quick walk. That's the kind of intention that will make a big difference. If you've got joint issues, pool walking is excellent too. Again, that's movement. You can be creative. I know that's not quite as easy, but it's still a doable way to get in movement.
I think that's what I'm going to have to end up doing. I was trying to decide between the two of which one I wanted to work on. But when I was speaking with Molly, we actually had to drop my 10,000 steps down to like about 5,500 because I just felt like I couldn't get it in. However, I was thinking about it. I do one big walk. If I do all the courts in my little neighborhood, it's 3 miles. Takes me about an hour.
Mhm.
Sometimes I don't have that hour, but I do have 15 minutes here, 10 minutes there to do a smaller walk. And then I can get those steps in. So I'm gonna have to get with Molly and just see if we'll put it back up to 10,000 steps, but break it down on a smaller scale instead of one big one.
One big walk can sometimes feel like it's too hard, to be
Okay.
honest. Even walking, you're like, I don't have time. I don't have time to go for a big long walk. And so getting your head wrapped around smaller ones count, and they are just as good, is a great idea. Sarah, maybe meet in the middle. Instead of 5,000 or 10,000, maybe shoot for 7,500 for a couple of weeks. And once that's easy, then go to 10.
I have something to say, Christy. I don't know, just maybe a little trick. Because I primarily work from home and I don't have a lot of time for breaks from running my drop off pickup with my child and all that kind of stuff. So one of the tricks I've done is, it seems funny, but we all drink a ton of water. So every time I'd go to the bathroom, I would like pick an exercise. I would do like 5 burpees or squats or do something like that, to where I would break it up and I do a little bit extra. Because realistically, I mean, we're going to the bathroom a lot during the day if we're consistently drinking our water. And then another thing too is, I know that the 10,000 steps for me personally is hard on a daily basis. I get my workouts in. I already have times where I either go to the gym or I will work out at home. I'll do either or, because that's like a non-negotiable. I have to do at least 20 to 25 minutes of movement of a workout. But if I don't get my 10K, then I do Tabatas on my stationary bike. So I do like maybe 3 Tabatas or 4 Tabatas, and they're only 4 minutes and 10 seconds at a time. So sometimes I can do them kind of like all in a row, or sometimes I can break them up. Because in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm only doing 4 minutes. So I get on the bike really quick, bust it out, and then I'm done. So it's like, if I don't hit my 10,000 steps and I know I'm not going to, then I make sure I do my Tabatas. So it's kind of, it's harder to track, obviously, but at least I'm doing extra movement on top of what I've already been doing. If that
I like
makes sense.
that, Jamie. I think that's a great suggestion. And your suggestion reminded me that I do neither of these things without it being a game. So maybe I'm just like a child in my head, but like what Jamie's talking about is an interval of 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest, and doing that, right? Well, that's how she's getting that movement in. Well, when I walk, it's all broken up into segments. Like I get gold stars and like Mario coins every time I cross like a mailbox. It's like, and I like imagine craziness in my head, but it makes it more doable, because then you're playing a little game. And if you are trying to incorporate strength stuff for the first time, the number one way to not do it is to have no plan and no game, because then you're going to get in that moment, you're going to stare at the stuff and you're going to be like, I don't know what to do. And even if I did, I don't even want to. So having like a little game, and that's what's written in your program too. Like if you go into your strength work programs, there's little games written in there. Every minute on the minute for 10 minutes, you're going to do 1, 2, 3, these things. 10 minutes later, you are done. So there's little games that you can play to make it more doable. And I strongly recommend those games in your head, because that's just how it's done.
Games in my head are the only way I get through life.
I know, me too.
It's just little games every day.
All day.
All day long.
Every fork I get points for that I put away. I get points. So the last piece that I want to say is, we post every single day in the Fitme community Facebook group, workout movement roll call. and use that as an accountability tool. It's not just like, look at me, I'm nailing it. Like, use that as a commitment or reminder or a prompt for you to be like, you know what, I just got that 10-minute walk, and put it there. And that accountability and, posting it will help you build some momentum. So that post is there for you to use. And so don't think of it just as like a highlight reel, like you got to earn it by doing some crazy spin workout or CrossFit class or, something. You earn those, points, however you get them, and then post them in there for accountability. Sweet, guys. So everybody has their homework. You guys know what you're going to tell your coach. I want you to pick which one you need to improve on. Tell your coach specifically how you are going to be intentional about improving it. If you're starting kind of with, I need to improve both, then pick which one you're going to start with first. If you need help, ask. You have a coaching team that's got a bunch of skill sets around this. If you're like, Christy, your workouts are cool, but I don't like them, I need something like this, just ask. We know a ton of people who have resources. Coach Sam will teach you how to do any body weight movement you want. She'll make a video and put it in the Facebook group. So all you have to do is ask. It's your journey. So if you're not sure, just ask us and we're here for you and we'll help you figure it out. All right, guys, let's take a picture. Put your face on if it's disappeared. Georgia's already saying bye. She heard me. All right, guys, ready? 1, 2, 3. Awesome, guys. Have a wonderful week. We'll talk to you soon and reach out if you need anything.
Thank
Bye.
you.